Have you ever been in a large group of people? A room filled with conversations happening at the same time, laughter coming from different corners, stories being shared back and forth, and yet felt something strange inside. As if, even though you were physically present, a part of you felt slightly out of place in that environment. Not necessarily sad, not necessarily uncomfortable, just a quiet sense that something about the group's dynamic doesn't fully match the way your mind works. You watch conversations moving quickly, people jumping from one topic to another, jokes appearing and disappearing within seconds. And while all of this unfolds, your mind seems to be operating at a slightly different rhythm. Not slower, just deeper. And it is exactly within that small difference in rhythm that many people begin to notice the familiar sensation of feeling in some subtle way outside the flow of the group. In large groups, social interaction often behaves like a fast-moving current. Conversations shift rapidly, attention jumps between voices, and reactions happen almost instantly. For many people, this constant movement of social energy feels exciting and stimulating, but for certain minds, the experience is very different. Instead of simply following the flow, the brain begins to notice a large number of signals all at once. Every voice, every facial expression, every reaction becomes another piece of information to process. The mind quietly starts observing who is speaking more, who suddenly became quiet, who seems slightly uncomfortable, who is trying to dominate the conversation. While most people are simply participating, these individuals are unconsciously analyzing the invisible patterns behind the interaction. And the more signals the brain tries to track, the more mentally demanding the environment becomes. What makes this even more interesting is that many people who feel out of place in large groups do not actually struggle with social interaction itself. In smaller settings, something completely different happens. When the environment becomes quieter and conversations slow down, their minds begin to engage more naturally. They can listen carefully, reflect before responding, and explore ideas in a deeper way. But in large groups, the rhythm of communication changes. There is an unspoken expectation of quick responses, spontaneous reactions, and fast participation. When a mind naturally prefers to observe and process information before speaking, this rapid pace can create a subtle misalignment, not because the person does not want to participate, but because the social environment is moving faster than their internal thinking process. There is another element that quietly influences this experience. In large groups, social belonging often operates through quick signals of connection, small inside jokes, shared references, short bursts of humor that circulate between people. For many individuals, these signals are intuitive and easy to follow. But for those who instinctively observe before entering a conversation, the process works differently. They prefer to understand the context of the interaction first. They watch the dynamics of the group, trying to understand the relationships, the tone of the conversation, the emotional atmosphere. And while this observation is happening, the conversation may have already shifted to a new topic. Over time, this creates the feeling of always being slightly behind the flow of interaction, even though the person understands the situation perfectly. Interestingly, the same characteristic that creates discomfort in large groups often becomes a powerful advantage in quieter environments. People who observe more than they speak tend to develop a very precise awareness of human behavior. They begin to notice patterns in conversations, emotional shifts in people's voices, small changes in body language that others rarely see. While the group moves quickly through interactions, these individuals are quietly capturing subtle details that reveal deeper layers of communication. Over time, this ability transforms how they understand the people around them. Because of this, many of these individuals naturally prefer environments where interactions feel calmer and more meaningful. Not because they dislike people, but because those environments allow their natural way of thinking to function more comfortably. Instead of trying to keep up with multiple conversations at once, they can focus on a single interaction and explore it fully. The conversation stops being a fast exchange of words and becomes something more thoughtful and genuine. And when that happens, the sense of feeling out of place simply disappears. Perhaps the most important thing to understand is that feeling out of place in large groups does not mean lacking social ability. In many cases, it means the opposite. It means the mind is perceiving more information from the environment than what is necessary to simply react. It is observing, interpreting, trying to understand the invisible layers of human interaction. In a world where many conversations move quickly across the surface, these minds are naturally searching for depth. And when they finally find environments where deeper connection is possible, something remarkable happens. The person who once appeared quiet in a large group begins to reveal something entirely different, a rare ability to understand people, emotions, and ideas with a level of clarity that few notice at first.